Now we'll have Mr. George Ake, who joins us now. He's a legal practitioner, also a public affairs analyst, to weigh in on this matter as well. Thank you for coming on this morning.
Thank you so much.
Well, we just heard him, part of those who went to the customs and supporting this policy, giving his reasons. Do you buy that?
I don't at all. I don't. You see, he has a very narrow view. I wouldn't say understanding, but a very narrow view of what the policy is all about. He's taking a standpoint of, protection of members of his association who are essentially dealers, and like he complained that quite a number of them, get clamped down once in a while and then get locked up, by the vehicle owners whose vehicles have been impounded by custom. But it goes a lot beyond that. And of course, from what the Senate is saying, you know that they are talking about Nigerians. And again, from what the Custom Controller General is talking about, he is talking about vehicle users in Nigeria. The specific objective may well be to generate more revenue. But you see, it goes beyond that. And that is why it is better for us, because the time you people normally give, for such programs is usually very, very small. So let us work from answer to question, because I may not be able to provide the solutions by the time you stop me. Let's start. Is it not possible for customs to begin to design a more cerebral way of tackling the issue of smuggling? Can we not ask that question? What is this osmotic pool that makes Nigerians or importers prefer to use neighboring ports, namely Benin port and all of the neighboring ports in the West Coast, to bring in their cars? As a matter of fact, there is a harvest going on with the Nigerian economy on the smaller countries, Benin, Togo, and wherever, where they are encouraging Nigerians to import cars through them. And that is why this smuggling is taking place. Now, the custom has redefined their schedule of duty to now chasing smugglers in the tracks, bush tracks of Iduroko and Seme border, arresting people who are carrying bags of rice on motorcycles and, frozen chicken and all of that. Can there not be a more cerebral manner of handling this other than this kind of fire brigade approach?
What would you have loved to see?
Say that again?
What would you have loved to see the customs do?
Look, the customs should begin to look at the duty rates that these vehicles attract. Why is it that it is better to go and import through Benin Republic than to import through Nigeria? Good. Reduce your duty rates. You will still get a lot of volume, to make up for that. Be more importer friendly. Let the ports be more friendly. Again, look at your HS codes. Begin to review them and their rates and all of that. Rework some of those things. Then these people will begin to import through you.
If you could add to that, don't forget that. Customs usually talk about the revenue target.
Yes.
So it appears as though year in, year out, the target increases.
Good.
So if they get friendly, does that mean they lose money?
No, that's the point I'm making. That they will gain through volume. Okay, you can imagine what it's like. I said, they have rescheduled their duty now to chasing smugglers around the borders and all of that. These are vehicles that have been cleared in other countries that are more friendly. And if, for instance, those vehicles, our own ports were more friendly, those vehicles will definitely come to Nigeria. And assuming, for instance, for purposes of hypothesis, we just say, take half of whatever custom duty that you had put on those vehicles and all of that, the volume will increase and you still meet your target. Even if you don't meet your target, but at least you would have given Nigerians some succor. But that's for purposes of coming from answer to question. But the major issue now is that let us look at this policy from two broad perspectives. Good governance, and again we'll now look at the legality of what the custom is about to do. We'll now look at the legal dimensions of what they do. Good governance is this. The purpose of government is to enhance the welfare of the people. An agency of government cannot continue to increase the misery index of this country. Look, let's simplify it. A typical vehicle owner is driving around the streets of Nigeria, or at least the roads of Nigeria. He gets either accosted by road safety corps. Road safety corps is asking for speed limit device. the VIO is asking for what is it? The VIO will probably be asking for vehicle
Worthiness.
roadworthiness. That's what those. Police is asking for full particulars. Then the custom comes and says duty paper. And let me tell you about duty paper. The process of registration is such that the moment you buy a vehicle and they give you all these papers, with the custom, some members of the custom, the members of the custom too, cook. Permit me to use that word, cook. In any case, those particulars may well be fake.
Are you accusing them of sharp practices?
Of course, there are quite a number of them that are corrupt down there that generate these documents. I'm going to give you a personal example. Please don't fail to ask me that personal example. Good. You take these papers. Of course, you are supposed to go to the office where you can register your car and look at how the law works. The officer who is at the licensing office looks at your custom paper, the papers with which you used in paying port charges and all of those things, that relate to the import, and certifies. When he's satisfied that those documents are correct, he issues you a license, a vehicle license. Once he issues you a vehicle license, there's something we call in law presumption of regularity. It means that all of those documents that you brought to his table, and he is the authorized person to look at them and certify them. He has to confirm them correct. If you are not into document keeping, because there are some people who don't even want to keep documents, you can afford to shred those custom yellow papers and all of that. You have not done anything illegal, because you have been issued a license.
What if you can't?
And there are three things that a typical officer is looking for on the road: is vehicle license. Are you capable of driving this vehicle, which is your driver's license? If you hurt a third party while using your vehicle, is the insurance capable of paying your third party, minimum third party? So these three.
Okay.
If anybody asks you about custom papers, it is illegal.
Okay, let me ask. So you
don't need to show them any custom papers, because presumption of regularity says that once your license has been issued, it means that you have paid the appropriate custom.
But from the look of things now, it turns out, because that's what this is about, if customs ask you for those documents, if you can't show those documents, whether or not you've registered all your documents, first, second, third, or fourth, or fifth time, they may not listen to you because they will assume you've not paid duty.
That is why it is an obnoxious policy. Because if for any reason you did not pay those custom duties which they are looking for now, you wouldn't have gotten a license.
Because what they ask you on the road is, let me see your duty paper.
And I'm saying it's illegal. You cannot show. They should not ask you that. The only thing you owe them is a license, and that license shows that you have paid duty, because there is an officer somewhere that is supposed to certify that you have paid the appropriate duty.
Do they then have,
unless and until he is satisfied that you have paid the appropriate duty, he cannot issue you a license.
Is it customs to ask you for your license? Because what will road safety or the police then ask you for? Because all of them almost ask you for the license.
Good. And I'm saying that the license covers the fact that you have paid duty. That's the point I made. Presumption of regularity. Presumption of regularity shows that there is an officer appointed by government that should look at, if you didn't pay any duty, you will not be given a license. So that is why you do not need to give the custom officer any document. Is superfluous. As a matter of fact, he's been overzealous asking you for that. Nigerians should be able to know that they don't owe the custom any duty of giving them the duty paper on the road, because you have a license. And that license presupposes that you have paid the appropriate duties, not just the custom duties, port charges, name it, everything that you need to do with your car.
The dealer ought to certify that the vehicle that is selling to you is worthy, and all charges have been paid from the ports, of course, because they bring it in, and then you're the final user, you're the end user, and all you need to do is to pay the money and then acquire the cars. Should this concerns now be thrown back to the dealers themselves? What do you think?
You see, there's a test question here. That test question is, who pays the custom duties? Is it the vehicle owner or the dealer? The answer is that it is the dealer.
But they eventually bill it into your charges.
No.
Don't they?
Well, I mean, that is part of what you pay for. It's part of
but ultimately,
the cost.
they are the ones
the cost
bear.
of your car. You will always see them say it's getting too costly to clear cars these days. Cars of this level, cars of this grade, and all of that. They are building it into what you eventually pay. So you have, by implication, paid the custom duty to the dealer. Or at least the dealer has transferred the custom duty, supposedly, to you.
So are they right to pick up the dealer if you don't have custom papers?
You see, their operations should stop at the dealer. That's the point I am making. Then, when we're not talking about the legal side of it, you see, I belong to the sociological jurisprudence school. That is to say, law is meant for the society. What is the interaction of law and social factors? As it stands now, literally everybody buys these fairly used cars. You get the point? And in any case, if the Custom Controller General says most Nigerians, as a matter of fact, all Nigerians, I can tell you that, all Nigerians have not paid the appropriate duty. It now means that he has criminalized every vehicle user. And that he's, like he said, he's going to do an aggressive enforcement of this duty collection on Nigerians. And like I said, misery index increasing. Nigerians are now wondering at what point in time would their vehicles be impounded and probably seized. Let us now look at what the general position of the law is. The general position of the law is that an offender cannot be allowed to enjoy the process of his offense or of his crime. In other words, if somebody smuggles a car and is able to evade arrest at the custom checkpoint, namely Idoroko, Sime, wherever they are and all of that, it does not mean that it's Uhuru for him. That's the general position of the law. So the custom can chase him beyond that port, beyond that border. And that is why they are on the road, probably trying to still see if they can catch the man who has smuggled or who has evaded arrest at the point of entry. You get the point? So legally speaking, they are all right. They are still looking for that dealer. Okay. And I make that emphasis, the dealer.